A police officer watched a chair move across a room by itself, and she put it in writing. What happened next is the most documented paranormal case in history, and the evidence still exists today. August 30th, 1977. A single mother in North London dialed 9999, her voice trembling as she said, "Please, you have to come. The furniture, it's moving by itself." When Police Constable Carolyn Heaps arrived at 284 Green Street in Enfield, she expected a prank, maybe rowdy kids. What she witnessed instead would force her to file an official report that would shock the world. In her police statement, a document that still exists today, WPC Heaps wrote, "I saw a chair move approximately 4 feet across the floor. It came to rest near the doorway. I checked for hidden wires, strings, any explanation. There was nothing. The Hodgson family had been living through the impossible for days. Peggy Hodgson and her 4 children reported knocking sounds in the walls, objects flying across rooms, and furniture rearranging itself while they slept." But that police report was just the beginning. 11-year-old Janet became the center of something investigators had never seen before. She would go into trances, her small body convulsing, and then the voice would come. Not her voice. A deep, rasping voice of an elderly man, rough from decades of smoking and age. "My name is Bill Wilkins," it said. "I went blind, and then I had a hemorrhage, and I died in this chair downstairs." Maurice Grosse and Guy Lyon Playfair from the Society for Psychical Research arrived to document the case, and for 18 months they recorded over 200 incidents. Their audio tapes captured that impossible voice coming from a child's throat for hours at a time, something medical experts said was physically damaging for an adult, let alone a child. Then came the photographs that would change everything. Images showing Janet suspended in midair above her bed, her body horizontal, defying every law of physics. The case exploded worldwide as the Enfield Poltergeist. Here's where it gets even stranger. Investigators asked the voice, "Who are you?" The response, captured on tape, "Bill Wilkins. I'm 72 years old, and I died in this house." They checked the records, and a man named Bill Wilkins had indeed lived in that house. He died there in 1963, sitting in his armchair downstairs at age 72. But Bill Wilkins' death was just the beginning. What happened next would divide believers and skeptics for decades. Because the truth about what really happened in that house is far stranger than anyone imagined. The voice of Bill Wilkins wasn't the strangest part. What investigators discovered next would shake them to their core. For 18 months, Maurice Grosse and Guy Lyon Playfair documented over 200 separate paranormal incidents at 284 Green Street. Objects flew across rooms in front of multiple witnesses. They set up cameras, locked Janet in her room, eliminated every possibility of tricks. The activity only got worse. But here's what sends chills down my spine. Janet was caught faking some phenomena. Years later, as an adult, she admitted she faked about 2% of incidents during quiet periods when nothing was happening. 2%. But that means 98% was real. Think about that. The levitation photographs showed Janet floating above her bed while asleep. Skeptics said she was jumping. But investigators who spent nights in that house described watching her rise slowly from the bed, remaining suspended for several seconds. Completely unconscious, her body rigid and horizontal in midair. The voice itself terrified medical experts. They confirmed Janet was using her false vocal cords, a technique that causes severe pain and throat damage even when used briefly. Yet, this 11-year-old girl maintained that deep, rasping elderly man's voice for hours at a time, sometimes until she collapsed from exhaustion and pain. No child could be trained to do this. No adult could sustain it without permanent damage. Here's what kept investigators awake at night. The Hodgsons had no history of mental illness, no motive for an elaborate hoax. Peggy Hodgson was a struggling single mother who despised the media attention destroying her family's privacy. Police officers, neighbors, journalists, and researchers all witnessed the same unexplainable events. And Bill Wilkins? His family confirmed every single detail the voice revealed. How he went blind, the hemorrhage that killed him, the chair downstairs where he died in 1963. The Hodgsons had no way of knowing any of this. They'd moved in years after his death, never met his family, never heard his story. The audio recordings still exist. You can hear that voice yourself, that impossible tortured voice of a 72-year-old man rasping through a child's damaged throat. The police reports are filed in official archives. The photographs remain unexplained. Whatever was in that house in Enfield, it left evidence that nobody has been able to debunk for over 40 years. The family moved on, but never spoke much about those 18 months. Some experiences are too dark to revisit. Because here's the final chilling truth. If 98% of what happened in that house was real, then we need to accept that something was there. Something that knew Bill Wilkins. Something that spoke through a child. And something that might still be waiting. Thanks for watching Whisper Dark. If this story sent chills down your spine, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We explore the darkest mysteries, unsolved crimes, and terrifying tales every week.